Hey there, welcome to me shop. So you come for some armours, or are you just here so I can tell you some more stories like last time? What, you don't remember me? Well, I was that guy you made fun of for making some mediocre mech armours. Most lucrative job on the planet, they said. Most common one too, you said. Well, clearly you've changed your mind since then, so I'm going to tell you some of my stories anyway. Just because I feel like it. Now, with the recent collapse and dysfunction in the oil industry, and like the new type of fuel being found in the ocean, many people have come to me wanting armours so they could essentially rob the big companies. Which, whilst I'm not really that big a criminal, I'm also not against, all them big companies. They do some pretty horrible things and stuff. This first guy came to me, and he was quite a rotund man, but he didn't want an armour that hid that or anything like that. He wanted to go straight in there. He showed me this new energy source he had found, pretty similar to radioactive energy, but mixed with the new energy found from the oil tanks. Said he used to work there. He didn't get much information off the guy, though. Now, because of this, most of the armours I made, they wanted to be able to go underwater, and most of the people I made them for because, well, they're going to an oil rig. It's, surrounded by ocean. So I let this guy boost himself through the air with green flames, mixed in with some of the chemicals he showed me. Said he used to be a scientist. But in the water, it would turn more into this gassy, sort of liquid, thick, sludgy mist that could propel him through the water, but also not hinder him in any way. Now, he gave me this massive weapon. It was like a hammer, and the designs for it looked quite cool. Usually, I like making my own designs, but this client, don't know what it was about him, I just liked him this time. So, he showed me this design of a massive hammer, and it would release, poisonous gas as he swung it. Which, personally, I feel like more people should be using poisonous gas in their armour designs. Such a versatile tool, you know? Anyway, beyond that, he was just a really great guy. Personally, I want him to be able to rob the place. He's just a chill guy, to be honest. Me and him were just vibing through the creation of it. He didn't really mind what it looked like, but he showed me some of this, the energy he made was naturally green, unlike, radiation, which everyone wants to be green in their armours, but it's actually blue, and they make it really hard to do. This guy made it easy for me with his energy actually being green. He's a pretty good fighter as well. From what I've seen on the news, he's actually getting pretty close to actually robbing the big oil rig companies, but he's not quite there yet, and he's been coming to me lately a lot of times for repairs in his armour. Since there's no one else who really knows how to control this sort of chemical fluid that mixes with the energy it's made, he kind of has to come to me, and I'm not saying I like squeezing him for all his money, but I can't say I don't like getting all that money from him as well when he does it. Now, this next guy was pretty mysterious. Don't think I even caught his name. But I'm not complaining because he wanted the works with this armour. He wanted it to be able to be controlled when he wasn't even in it. Triple jointed legs, glowy parts, magnets, obviously. And he wanted this big creepy glowing mouth in the middle. I couldn't tell if he gets his kicks out of scaring folks, or, if he thought it would just be a good tactic for invading the oil rig. He even wanted these ultimate spider monkey type things on the side. Now, magnets I've not always been the best with. Kinda my weakness. Same with coding armours to move on their own. I know it would be remote control, but there's just too much safety stuff with that. Honestly, if you're bad at controlling your armour, just go in the armour. They're mech armours for a reason, not mech, aren't no drones. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So I had to put these spheres on different joints of the armours so that they'd be able to move freely, because I like having some clunky armours where you see the metal shifting as it moves. But when you want an armour to be remote controlled, and this guy wanted this armour to be pretty fast, that just wasn't going to work. Most mech armours I make, personally, are for defense. And I know some other people out there market themselves with the fastest mech armours on the market. But with this one, I can still prove to the haters that I'm pretty versatile. Now, this also went into the limbs, so when it wasn't being controlled by a person, it didn't have human limitations, so it could move its arms and body a lot more flexibly than when this guy was in it. But that's not me even complaining about the guy's skills, because he was a menace from what I've seen on the news of him actually going to the oil rig. It's pretty odd, because unlike all the other clients I got during this boost, he never really asked for anything that would make it super manoeuvrable in water. I mean, it still is, because it's manoeuvrable anywhere. This guy will be manoeuvrable falling from a plane without a parachute. But still, I thought it was weird that he hadn't thought of that. Hey, maybe he's adding his own additions to the armour. You know what really got me about this guy, though? This is what made me kinda not like him. So that mouth on the stomach I was telling you about, pretty cool, yeah? He started going by Shadow Leviathan. Made this mouth its whole, marketing tactic and stuff, like his badge and emblem or something. Now, I'm not against some good marketing, but come on, you could come up with something more creative. And when I asked the guy if he wanted a mouth on the armour, or exposed mouth, so that he would be able to eat, he said, no, I'll just eat through the mouth on the chest. Now, the mouth on the chest, no, it wasn't decoration. He could still use it, he could open and close it. Heck, he could even use it to breathe if he was being strangled or something. This guy wanted to eat out of it in his chest. I had to put this whole extra spike thing on his helmet just to store the oxygen and now the breathing and eating apparatus. I hope I never get that guy again. That was one of the most stressful arms I've ever made. Now, this next guy has started going by the Snowstalker. And I just kind of want to go on a little rant, because why is it when I get the lamest clients who always come up with the coolest names? I first get at the start, me and him were chilling building this armour. I almost wanted him to buy another one just so I could talk to him for even longer. But I don't even think he came up with some cool name, just started going by his regular name. And then these guys who think they're cool make these cool names, and it just, never mind, I came here to force my stories upon you, but I'll get onto this next guy, calling himself the Snowstalker, and he wanted a pretty creepy armour as well, similar to Shadow Leviathan, or whatever he decided to call himself. He put this mouth on it, and I thought that would be, another mouth that someone could eat out of, because I didn't want to do the whole mouth on the chest thing again. This guy just got me so I could remove it, and that was still annoying to do, don't get me wrong. I had to even work with some nanochips, but it's way better than having to put a mouth on the chest. Never mind. He put these, orange sensors on the side of the head, so he basically had 4 eyes, and essentially 360 vision. This dude had massive shoulders as well, but I made him even bigger in the armour, because this guy, he wasn't exactly a tank, more so than he was... I don't exactly have a big comparison, but let's just say this dude never skips arm day and doesn't know what leg day is exactly. But his legs aren't actually his weak point, no, because he asked me if I could shoot, pressurised water from it. Now, I thought he wanted water. But no, he wanted it to be cold water. And I mean cold water. He wanted to basically shoot pressurised snowy mist out of it. Now, I've got to say, I respect this guy for doing that. You've got to get creative with what you're doing with your armours. Everyone wants it to shoot fire or plasma nowadays. Half the people on the market don't even know what plasma means. He wanted a kind of snowy mech. Again, it wouldn't traverse that well underwater, but to actually get to the oil rig, this guy could probably just freeze all the water and slide around it. He's basically Jesus walking on water. Now, something cool I gave this guy, gave him some glowing blue bits. That was actually pretty easy to do. The orange accents, personally, they were my idea. This guy just wanted it to be all white and blue, really lean into the, icy vibe. And I think he wanted it to be more creepy, because he just left without even thanking me. I know it's my job, but just seems a little rude. Now, this next guy wanted a pretty complex armour as well. But he was actually another scientist, so me and him were kind of having the same ideas. Scientists and mech armour builders, they're two very different jobs, but they do come together in some parts, and I feel like that's where we really thrived. He basically built half the armour, but he paid full, and that's all I care about, to be honest. Now, he, as a scientist, was actually a person who was taking genetic material from extinct species to build new ones. But also, he kind of just built new species for fun, and that sounds about as metal as anything I can think of. His favourite was this kind of like bombardier beetle pufferfish hybrid that exploded when it felt like it was in danger. He called it the crash fish, and this dude wanted an armour based on that. That I can respect. Like, you want an armour based on something you built, that's cool. Like, there's no other way to say it. He built a jetpack into the back. I helped with that, obviously, it's my armour, but his designs for it, I basically just built it. I barely designed anything. Now, he did want some glowing displays. He wanted this one central eye, which I thought was a pretty cool design choice. So he wanted these glowing displays that showed red, orange, and yellow, because this dude, like, the explosions he made, they weren't just, like shockwaves, or, like, just bursts of air like grenades. No, they were fiery explosions. And I actually ended up making it pretty creepy because the energy would like track his eye movement and basically just glow in the creepiest way possible at all times. Now, for his face, I did a breathing apparatus, so you wouldn't need to, like, most of the times in mech armors, you need some special, like, breathing training to breathe in them, but no, this guy didn't need that, even if it left his face a bit uncovered. You could tell this guy he had robbed oil rigs before. That might sound concerning, but it's true. Like, he had experience, so we already knew the proper breathing techniques. He wasn't worried about having his mouth exposed. He was able to shoot fire from his hands to propel himself, same way with his feet. Basically, this guy was just a very explosive guy, very energetic and stuff. Now, he had tubes all over it. I really couldn't cover them up. Like, they were tubes that flowed the energy into the displays. And personally, I just really liked that this guy cared more about the displays, honestly, than he did this thing being able to explode. Which it was. Like, he really wanted this thing to be able to explode as a last-ditch resort, which I thought was pretty weird. Most of the time, you don't want your armour to explode, but hey, this one also has functions, if a bit primitive, to be able to move without him in it. So maybe he's going to build an army of these things and kamikaze into the oil rig or something, I don't know. Anyway, you here for an armour? No? Oh, you're my Uber Eats guy. You liked the stories though, didn't you? Right? Right?